Hey there, welcome back, sports fans. Long time no see. How
Hello.
y'all doing out there? We've missed being with you, but
Yes.
we know that you're watching as much football as we're watching and enjoying a season that is always exciting, unpredictable,
Mm.
heartbreaking. What else would you add to that, Darren?
I would unpredictable, heartbreaking, upside down, whirlwind. How's that one? Is that a good one? A whirlwind?
Nice little Lainey Wilson reference there. I'm
Oh, it
impressed.
wasn't even on purpose. There you go. I'll take it.
Very well done. Good start
There
to
you go.
the first show we've had in 7 years.
That's right. That's what it feels like. That's exactly right. It's been so long that
Anyway.
last time we broadcasted or recorded, James Franklin was the coach of Vanderbilt. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
I think the last time we recorded, nobody in their right mind thought that UCLA had a shot against Penn State.
How could you not? I mean, they changed their coach. They hired Rick. What's his Rick
Neuheisel's
Neuheisel?
son.
His son, was he 22, something like that, standing on
Yeah,
side? He
yeah,
looks like a high schooler calling play. Why would you not think that was an obvious UCLA win, right?
yeah. Of course. But
Oh, James
yeah,
Franklin.
kudos to them. But man, it's a little embarrassing when you storm the field with no fans.
Yeah, that's right. When the coaches had to storm the field. That's a tough spot.
You know that they
Maybe
couldn't even they couldn't even do CGI to create more.
maybe I shouldn't make fun of that. I remember a field storming at Vanderbilt that involved seeing people walk down the steps together. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should step back from that one.
Yeah, yeah. Ouch. Well, it's the travel.
That's
It's the
right.
travel.
That's it.
Goodness gracious. Hey, we've got some reactions that have nothing to do with the Big Ten. We're going to
That's
talk
right.
about SEC football. It's been a while. Darren, let's jump right in with our Week 6 reactions. I'm holding my breath,
Well,
Darren.
here we
What is
go.
yours?
I tell you, I've thought about this a lot, and I think my week 6 reaction is, we talked about it being a whirlwind and topsy turvy and heartbreaking and all that. I think sometimes you have to take a step back when you look at the Georgia Kentucky game, when you look at the Alabama Vanderbilt game, even though I obviously was hoping for um, a different outcome. I harken back to, and you'll have to remind me of his last name, but Minnesota Vikings head coach Dennis
Ah,
uh,
yes, Dennis Green.
Green. There you go. I went blank. It was going away there. Even though it's been an upside down year so far in the SEC, there are still moments when you look at an Alabama, when you look at a Georgia, and you go, oh, they're exactly who we thought they were. Yeah. So there's still, the SEC is so dominant in the recruiting game and in the transfer portal game, that even when things are a little bit crazy and we're going to talk about Missouri and how good they are and all of these different things, Vanderbilt starting the season 5-0, you know, there's still moments when you go, oh yeah, that was Alabama. Okay, that hurt. Just like Kentucky walked off the field going, oh yeah. Everybody's talking about how they didn't look this. Yeah, that was still Georgia. Oof, that stung. Eh, it's still incredible, even in a conference that is so stacked top to bottom. And I think you can say that just about this year more than ever. It might be a little bit of issue there at the very, very bottom, but the top is still so strong, whoever that plays out to be, that it's still incredible just how dominant teams can be at times. They are
Yeah,
exactly who they thought we were. That was what kept going through my mind.
yeah, definitely.
How about you?
Definitely. My reaction, a shout out to Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. When he took that job, who saw Vanderbilt, Alabama being one of the premier games on
Absolutely.
a Saturday? And he has he has created a culture at Vanderbilt. And we laughed at him his introductory press conference when he talked about some of his goals and what he intended for Vanderbilt, and everybody chuckles a little bit. And well, he's supposed to say that he's the new coach. He's following through on it. He's willing to take risks,
Yep.
uh, from bringing in coordinators to going and getting a quarterback like Diego Pavia, and it didn't work out for them Saturday against Alabama. Did you see, though, how excited Alabama was to beat Vanderbilt?
Oh,
That
absolutely.
used to be that used to be a give me game for Vanderbilt. I mean, for Alabama.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of celebrating.
Hmm.
It was like, we're supposed to win that game.
Yep.
That game, though, I sat there and I turned to my wife and I said, if there's a sign that Vanderbilt has arrived, it is Alabama being this excited to beat
Hmm.
them.
I, I,
So kudos to Clark Lee.
I tell you another moment like that where I actually was just like, holy moly, this actually says a little something. That first score, when they broke that run, Cedric Alexander got was 72 yards or whatever it was, and they showed the look of a certain section of the stands in Alabama. And you could see these people had this look on their face of, not again. Is this going to happen again? And any other year, any other time, especially that kind of play where Vanderbilt, it looks like, just kind of sneaks one in, just breaks off a set, that you would have shown the crowd this time, even 3 years ago, much less 5 or 10 years ago. And they would have just like, oh, okay, so the score is going to be 51-7, whatever. And just there would have been no panic, and you could see it after that first score.
Yeah, yeah. The culture has changed.
Yep,
Vanderbilt is a player in the SEC that cannot be taken lightly.
absolutely. That's I feel warmness.
Go ahead, take a moment. Take a moment.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Embrace it. Embrace it. All right, we got it. We got the rest
That's
of the
right.
show
We,
today.
we
Let's
still got
move
other
on
stuff to
from that.
talk about.
Let's get into our power rankings as we look at where the SEC stacks up right now. It's not where I thought it was going to stack up
No,
after week one. That's part of the nature of a college football season. You experience the gamut of emotions. Teams disappoint, teams underperform, teams overperform, and that leads us to our first power rankings for the SEC. We're going to rank the 5 top teams we think as of today.
as of today.
Heading into week 7, we've got 6 weeks under our belt. Here is who we think are the top 5 SEC teams. Darren, you want to kick us off?
All right. So I'll go 5-1. How's that? Does that work? All
I
right.
like it. A little build up.
A little bit of build up. So I have at number 5. And if we can discuss maybe criteria and stuff like that when we talk about our differences, I have at number 5 Alabama, 4 Oklahoma, 3 Missouri, 2 Texas A&M, and number 1 I have Ole Miss. So right now, going into week 7, I have Ole Miss as the number 1 team in the conference. How about you? Who's your top 5?
As of today, and it's going to change. We've got a huge game Saturday that we're going to talk
Absolutely.
about. But my top 5, I'm going to go with Vanderbilt at number 5. Diego didn't execute Saturday. I think they're going to work that out.
Yeah.
Clark Lee and the staff is going to work that out. Tennessee at number 4. I mean, they played Georgia tight. What was that? A 3-point
Mm-hmm.
game. So I think people are overlooking Tennessee right now. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin can coach.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to say that he can coach, and what the offensive scheme he used against LSU and how he created space against an elite secondary.
Absolutely.
I mean, if Kiffin's at Ole Miss, you can't really count them out.
Yep.
They're my number 3. I've got A&M at number 2. How about Mike Elko and the job that he is doing? You look at their remaining schedule. This team, I don't know how they miss the playoffs unless they
Yeah.
completely collapse. They got a tough one with, well, a few weeks ago, I would have said a tough one with LSU,
Yeah.
uh, but the offense is so out of sync right now. I'm not sure unless they get those issues ironed out. A&M can easily end this season. They could possibly end undefeated. They could end with maybe one loss, no more than two losses. So
Agree.
they're right in the thick of the playoff mixture. Elko doing a great job. That huge win up in South Bend under the pressure. I like what Mike Elko is doing. Then my number one team in the power rankings is Alabama. Is anybody out there calling for Kalen DeBoer to be fired as of now?
Exactly. That's a great point.
We were like a lot of people, totally shocked with the Florida State loss to
Yeah.
start the season. He's he's righted the ship. Big wins, Georgia, that Vanderbilt, no slouch. Don't This Alabama team has got confidence back. They've got their swagger
Yeah.
back, and that makes them dangerous. So as of right now, Oklahoma fans out there, you may be saying, "How in the world are we not in the top 5?" Well, a couple of things. If you hadn't played Kent State last week, I probably would have bumped you
That's
up.
a great point.
Beat Texas this week,
Yep.
you will be solidly in the top 5 power rankings.
Yep.
And a lot of that is, hey, do they need John Mateer to win that game? I don't know if they need him to win that game, but it sure would help a lot.
Yeah. So our biggest, it's interesting that we both have A&M at number 2. That's pretty interesting, but that's pretty much our only similarities. I appreciate, even though I guess I don't have much room to talk. I didn't put them in my top 5. I appreciate Vanderbilt being in your top 5. Thank you for that. I kind of looked at it from a completely a record point of view. Who's undefeated in the conference, and then what does your out of conference, do you have any losses? Are you undefeated outside of the conference? And that's why I was looking at like Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, some of these one loss teams, they were all kind of clumped together. And I felt like Alabama was showing the most right now and obviously you agree because you have Alabama at number 1 of the one loss teams. I felt like Alabama was showing the most, but man, Ole Miss and A&M, I think that's top of the conference till somebody proves me wrong. If they have a go up against one of these other schools and have they're exactly who we thought they were moment like Vanderbilt experienced this weekend. Uh, like you said, can Texas A&M go into the postseason 11-1? I think that's a very real possibility. I think the same possibility exists for Ole Miss. And we're going to learn everything we need to know about Missouri this week. Having Alabama at home, we're going to learn. So I will either look like I really knew what Missouri was doing or just totally drank the drink. Oh, come on. That's at least worth a little something, right?
Mm.
But
Well played.
we're going to find out everything we need to know about them this weekend, I think.
Nice
Well,
execution
thank
too.
you, thank you, thank you.
Uh, but we all know you've been sliding in to Drinkwitch's
Oh,
DMs. So
absolutely. I'm willing to join the evil empire with him. Same colors
I think
there.
I think he's the one coach that actually watches the show.
I think you're right. I think he does. I'm in total agreement with that. We'll have to, if they beat Alabama, we'll toast our lightsabers to him.
Brilliant. That takes us into 4 down territory where we look at the past week and we look ahead to this week. And so, Darren, how about we dive right into the end zone with the brown bag pick from week 6? Darren, you have a look of consternation on your face. Do you need a moment? Are you ready to go into this?
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and give us your brown pack? I'm gonna have to work up to mine. I'm gonna be honest. So go ahead,
I
give us
feel
your.
like we need to play some music from The Godfather.
There might be some truth in that.
Yeah,
Go. You want to go
sounds
ahead and give yours?
looks like somebody's broken your heart.
It's gonna. You'll understand in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, my brown bag pick is Kentucky.
Mm,
Goodness gracious. I don't know what the answer is there. I know that a lot of fingers are pointing at Mark
right.
Stoops, and but it's hard. It's hard to ignore the record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's been over a year since he's won an SEC game.
Yep. Like 1 in 12 in the last 13 or something like that.
The fan support is waning.
Yep.
There's so much instability there.
Mm-hmm.
A new quarterback every year, an offensive scheme doesn't seem to be working. Uh, I don't know, players buying into this. I mean, you can point at a zillion different things, but it really seems like at this point, it might be advantageous for Kentucky and Mark Stoops to find some way to amicably separate.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's possible. Stoops is saying he has no intention of leaving, and um, you know, but right now it just it's bad, hard times in Kentucky, and
Yep.
I thought about putting LSU in the brown bag, but they didn't play last week,
Yeah.
so I'm giving them a pass.
And hopefully for you, they won't need a brown bag this week. Hopefully.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to all those up in Lexington. I know everybody's looking forward to the kickoff of the basketball season,
Yep.
uh, but I think the fans at Kentucky deserve more than what they're getting.
I think that's a great point. And a very, very reasonable brown bag. I think, like you said, you can't deny what's going on. Even if you're the biggest of Kentucky fans, you can't deny what's going on right now. And we'll actually talk a little bit more about Mark Stoops here in just a minute. But all right, this breaks my heart. I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. That being said, I had to take a step back and say, self, if it were any other player on any other team, would you let it slide? And the answer is no, I would not let it slide. So, Diego Pavia, you cannot say statements like, if we play our game between the lines, it won't be close. And then in your pregame warm up, practice kneeling out the game because you've won. And then get into the game and have statistically, according to Pro Football Focus, the worst graded game, not only of this season, but one of your worst graded games at Vanderbilt. You just can't do it. That's a brown bag moment. If it were anybody else at any other school, I wouldn't let it slide. So I can't let it slide with Diego Pavia. It hurts my heart as mm, Matt Mitchell on SEC Roll Call says, "Sweet baby boy Diego, I love you, but I got to call a spade sometimes." So unfortunately, that's my brown bag pick for the week.
Mm,
It hurt.
that
It hurt.
had to be hard, didn't it?
Very much. Still painful. Still stings.
Yeah. Mm. It's such a fine line, Darren. You
Yep.
want your quarterback to be confident in that
Absolutely.
manner, but yeah, I think that's a well articulated brown bag from an actual fan.
I mean, I've got. Let me see if I can move my
I
head.
thought you were getting ready to show you got a new Vanderbilt tattoo.
No. I moved my head the
What
right
is
way.
going on?
I have a picture of Diego and Clark Lee hugging, hanging on
I
my
have
wall.
no idea what you were just doing with your arm. I'm like, what is he doing?
That had a little bit of double jointed thing kind of going on, didn't it?
Yeah, impressive,
Anyway,
impressive.
so I'm a fan, but I got to be real about it. So
How about we jump into our post game quote, where I believe the coach for this week is the previously mentioned Mark Stoops of Kentucky.
to use a social media saying that you hear all the time or used to, maybe I'm just not catching up. Who knows? But Mark Stoops, can you tell us how it's going in Kentucky without actually telling us how it's going in Kentucky?
Mark, there was a radio report that got a lot of traction yesterday that you approached the administration about negotiating an exit last year. Is there any truth to that at all?
I mean, I hate to give anything like that legs. There's zero. I told you last year, right? You know what I mean? You guys could write and say what you want about me, but I mean, I told you there's zero chance I'm walking away. You know what I mean? Zero. And, there's no quitting me, so that's unequivocally 100% false. and anybody says otherwise is lying.
You said at the start, we're not where we want to be.
And I don't want to address that crap no more.
He's not walking away, except
Yeah.
well, if A&M comes
Yeah.
call, no, never mind.
Now that there's not a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract on the table, I'm not walking away. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
He's committed to Kentucky. He
Yep.
wants to turn this thing around. So I want to trust that he's telling the truth there. When you look at his tone of voice and his body language, these are all signs that things are not going well in Lexington, and we may be nearing the end of this relationship.
Yeah. I think when things are at a point where when you finish answering a question like that, you feel like you have to go back and put one more qualifier on it. I think that tells us where things are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Mark Stoops.
Yeah, unfortunate. As we look to the week ahead, let's talk about our sure thing pick for week 7, a full slate of SEC games. If you look it over, Darren, who is your sure thing pick for week 7 in the SEC?
I am going to show extreme optimism and an absolute belief in the forecasting ability of Chipotle tortilla smashers. I'm going with Oklahoma over Texas. That is my upset. Whatever the line is, that is my sure thing. Oklahoma will win this game Saturday over Texas.
I like that. And I'd like to atone to Oklahoma fans by also choosing the Sooners over the Longhorns.
Nice.
For whatever reason, Texas is sputtering. I don't know. You can't blame one player. I know everybody wants to point the finger Arch Manning. You can't blame Arch Manning. What is I read this week. Brent Venables said about Oklahoma in terms of is Mateer going to play and he said, we've got to be the sum of our parts. We're not just one player. I'm paraphrasing. And Texas has to figure that out as well. They have the talent on the team. And so I'm looking forward to this Red River rivalry. And I think the Sooners are gonna pull out a huge win. That's further going to leave Longhorn fans scratching their heads about what went wrong this season.
Yeah, agree completely. All right.
How about our upset pick of the week, Darren? You look over the full slate of games. Who are you liking?
I am going to, until somebody proves me wrong, and it could happen this week until a team proves me wrong, I am going to wholesale buy into Ahmad Hardy, the Missouri Tigers, and that rushing attack. Alabama showed last week, and here's the thing. Alabama is one of the top 10 rushing teams in the conference, but they do not have a running back in the top 10 or even the top 5. So that shows some O-line issues potentially. Obviously, Vanderbilt was not able to exploit them, but that doesn't mean that a rushing attack like Missouri has can't. So I believe, I said earlier, we're going to learn everything we need to know about Missouri. I think the big thing we're going to learn is that they are for real. They're going to welcome the Tide into Columbia, and the Tide is going to I guess I'm all kinds of movie references as in the movie Nutty Professor. They're going to walk over here, but they're going to limp back. It's going to be a tough day for Alabama in Columbia, Missouri. That's my upset pick. How about you?
You serious, Clark?
And with that money I get on this bet, I'm going to get you something real nice.
It'd be easy to take Oklahoma as the upset pick. I think right now the line is Texas by 2.5. But I want to kind of stick my neck out. I'm very high on Mike Elko and what A&M is doing, and I think they're 7.5-point favorites over Florida. And let's face it, Florida has looked atrocious this year. I still believe in Billy Napier. The guy's a good coach. He's so level-headed. He reminds me of that famous quote. If you live by people's praise, if you live for people's praise, you'll die by their criticism. So he doesn't get up, he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low.
Yeah.
This Florida team is dangerous, and if A&M just looks at the bad losses this year and say, well, Texas isn't that good. All they did was beat Texas. They're not that great. And that was at home. They got to come to College Station, which is a really tough place to play.
Absolutely.
These Gators are going to bite them. And so I'm going to stick my neck out there and make Florida my upset pick of the week.
There is not a coach in the conference that is better when everybody in the state wants him fired than Billy Napier. Man, that dude can win a ball game.
Keep him on the hot seat. Keep him on the hot seat.
The moment they say, we love you, Billy, we hope you're here forever, he goes on a losing tear. And then it's like when they boo him, when he comes on the big screen, it's like, I'll take 3 wins in a row. Thank you. So there's something to that. You might be on the right path there.
Either I'm on the right path or A&M's going to beat him by 25.
I tell you, but you know what? The weird thing is, truthfully, you were talking about Kyle Field being a tough place to play. They have a better record outside of the swamp than they do in the swamp, which is insane when it comes to conference games. Absolutely crazy. So, I mean, who knows?
It's no surprise our game of the week. It's one of the most historic rivalries in all of college football. The passion, the pageantry. I'm beginning to sound like legendary Keith Jackson.
That's right.
On the microphone, right?
So you're talking about Ole Miss, Washington State, right? Is it? No.
Yeah. I'm talking OU, Texas.
The granddaddy of them all. We'll keep with Keith Jackson run there.
So many great players.
Yep.
We have watched in this game.
Unreal.
We have seen incredible upsets. We have seen dominating performances. At the beginning of this season, if you ask people, Texas, OU, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody outside of Norman saying OU.
Hands down. Hands down.
Look how things have changed. Texas limps in at a 3-2 record. Yep. Oklahoma's flying high 5-0. The big question mark for this game, of course, is Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer. Darren, and I think, did you have some insider information about Mateer?
Well, you know, according to social media, there is a Chipotle tortilla smasher, I believe is the correct title. I don't mean to disrespect the title. I'm just telling you that's my understanding of the correct title, who has some inside information based on a conversation, who, by the way, verified by his aunt, and based on a conversation he had with John Mateer, that we're looking at a John Mateer comeback. So, I mean, if it goes through that many channels and it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right? Bonjour.
Bonjour for Chipotle. Interesting.
No, bonjour's the if it's on the internet, it must be true commercial. Oh yeah, I'm a French model. Bonjour.
I guess I need to watch more TV.
Or maybe I need to watch less. Maybe that's what we just learned in that moment.
But evidently, you know, your affinity for Chipotle paid off in some insider information.
There you go. It got us. Who else is reporting this? I think we can say that.
I think everyone else considered the source and didn't report it.
Exactly. But if he walks out, if he comes out of the tunnel dressed to play, you heard it here first. Well, Chipotle, then here. So there you go.
This is looking to be another classic matchup.
Absolutely.
Darren. You have the defensive mind of OU coach Brent Venables, the offensive mind of Steve Sarkisian. They're going to go at it. Arch Manning, I guarantee you Venables has some tricks up his sleeve that they're going to employ with their defensive schemes to try to throw Arch Manning off. Sarkisian's going to throw some things at the OU defense to try to find some cracks. Mm-hmm. We're going to watch a chess match, two teams going in two different directions. Texas needs this game, I think, to resurrect their season.
Absolutely.
OU wants to keep their momentum going as they eye a playoff spot, Darren. So I'm excited, and it's not at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Central Time.
Thank goodness. We're happy to have 2:30 SEC ball back.
They're gradually moving up to prime time.
Exactly.
Right?
I tell you, you talked about that chess match between Texas offense, Oklahoma defense. I really do think that's the piece of the puzzle, the Oklahoma defense, because everybody wants to talk about John Mateer. What's this Oklahoma offense going to look like with him or without him? Whatever the case is. But I think you just need the Oklahoma offense with or without Mateer to not give the game away, to control to have good uh, clean ball control, no fumbles, no interceptions. Limit that as much as possible, because this Oklahoma defense, they're the number 2 rushing defense in the entire conference. They're the number 1 scoring defense in the entire country, and obviously Texas has some serious offensive struggles. I think that sets up as a really, really nice matchup for Oklahoma, and they can stop this Texas defense. So we just need the Oklahoma offense to not. We don't need 500 yards and 50 points. We just need you to not to control the game. Good, consistent drives, get down the field, and finish with touchdowns and not field goals. And that is, I think that puts Oklahoma in the captain's chair for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
Excellent. I think it's going to be a fun day for sure, especially if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Well, thank you for hanging with us during our hiatus. We appreciate you watching the show, listening to the show, however you choose to interact. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. That means a lot to us. It also helps us in our digital footprint out there.
Absolutely.
Be sure to tell other people about the show. Enjoy another great week of SEC football. Remember, new episodes here at the Brew and Shaver Sports Podcast drop every Tuesday.
We promise.
Unless we take another sabbatical.
Exactly.
Until next time, y'all take care.
Have a great week.